Hey everyone, what's up? Welcome to the channel. So I've been messing around with Google AI Studio using Gemini 2.5 Pro model, and it's pretty wild. I've got this list of prompts. I'm basically asking the AI to build a bunch of interactive websites and cool visual things from scratch. You'll see me copy pasting each prompt into two AI Studio windows side by side. Then we'll grab that HTML code it spits out and run it to see what happens. It's kind of like a live experiment. Now, just a heads up, for some of the really tricky prompts later on, I actually give the AI the full code. Why? Well, after trying a lot, I found it was the best way to show you guys the super specific, cool stuff that the AI did make earlier, but was hard to get it to make again perfectly from just a no code prompt. But here's the deal. Every bit of the code you'll see, even the full bits, was originally made by the AI. I didn't type it out. I was just telling it what to do, and that's just keeping it real. All right, let's jump in and see what Gemini can do. I set the temperature all the way down because I wanted to basically do the best coding it can do without so much imagination. All right, first up, prompt number one. We're trying to make something called the algorithmic Dreamweaver. The big idea is an AI made art piece that changes in real time, kind of like a dream that goes through different stages. It's got to be a single HTML file, look really flashy, and this is important, have sound that AI makes with a clear rhythm, and that sound has to make the visuals move and change. So the prompt first asks Gemini to dream up a little story about this dream, maybe one or two parts, like waking up, exploring the rhythm, then everything comes together for each part. The prompt requires Gemini to write out a description of what the dreams look like, the mood, colors, shapes, how things move, and how all that visual stuff will react to the sound. These visual descriptions are the only things that the AI will use to make the visuals. Plus, each part needs one big wow visual moment that happens because of maybe a specific sound occurrence. Then, for the sound, the prompt directs Google AI Studio or Gemini to detail how it'll use the Web Audio API, that's a web thing for making sounds, to create these rhythmic soundscapes. It's prompted to specify the beats, any little tunes, what it'll sound like, and any effect like echo, and just the visuals. The sound in each part should build up to something cool that triggers that wow visual. The prompt also asks it to consider how the sound will flow from one dream phase to the next. Finally, after laying out that plan, it's prompted to write all the HTML, CSS, and JavaScript to make this happen. The code needs to make sure that the visuals are really obviously synced up with the sound the AI itself is generating. Oh, and I also asked for a simple mouse interaction for fun. Let's load this into AI Studio as you see, and see what kind of dream Gemini weaves for us. Okay, you guys might want to turn your volume down though, in case when it's done, because sometimes when it gets done with this one, it's super loud. So get ready. There it goes, making some noises. Yeah, turn it down, guys. Make sure you can actually, you can hear it getting to work, but because of that static for the demo, it might just sound bad. So make sure to be careful with your headset. Oh, there we go. I'm about to dance. Oh no. Oh no, we've lost the plot. Oh no, it's starting to mix and match. Careful. Oh, my son doesn't like it. The beat went off. Son, let me try to. Yeah. Oh no. Guys, gotta turn it down, turn it down. I'm gonna drag the mouse and make some crazy noises. Oh, that's not pleasant. Oh no. Sorry about that one, guys. Okay. Ooh. Smooth it on out. Smooth it on out. Okay. I'm gonna just do the left one. Okay, that has a nice little. Okay, next up is Echoes of History. The plan here is to get Gemini to make a really sick, like awesome and intense interactive piece of abstract art. It's going to be in a single HTML file, look flashy and run super smooth. This art should make you feel a historical event or time period. And it'll have a little text, like echoes that pop up. So first, the prompt tells Gemini to pick a big historical moment, something intense or with a lot of meaning, like the French Revolution or landing on the moon. Then it's asked to write a rich description of it, but not like a history book, more about the main ideas, the feelings, the important symbols, and how it changed things, going for the essence kind of all of it. After that, based on its own description, it needs to create 3 or 4 short, punchy, historical echo text snippets that grab a piece of that event's history. So you have to use a little bit of your imagination here. But then the coding part, the prompt directs Gemini to make the HTML file. The main thing is a full screen piece of abstract art that's always changing and moving, really trying to capture the vibe from this historical description using colors and shapes that match the theme, and it has to run smooth, like 60 frames a second, no lag. You should be able to move your mouse and gently change the art a little bit. And here's a cool bit. There will be 3 to 4 little spots or icons on the screen. The prompt asks will ask that when you hover or click on them, one of those historical echo texts will show up with a cool dramatic animation. The whole thing should look very polished, like something you'd see in a modern art gallery. Before giving the code, Gemini is prompted to first outline its plan for making the art, keeping it fast, the mouse stuff, how to animate the text. Let's see the history lesson Gemini gives us today. All right, let's run it. And the left one's ready. Oh, nice. What a nice start there to that one. Nice abstract art. Kind of like a rave. So something crazy, but it's really nice and smooth. Okay, and here's a second one. Kind of like what looks like some kind of like cog. Looks like the wording isn't correctly aligned, but still pretty cool what it can do with a little bit of work and a little bit of editing. We could probably make this into something cool, of course. Cool idea. So just showcasing kind of what Google AI Studio can do. See, this one has the side tabs working with, I guess, some kind of like a poem it has and reflecting to the history of whatever history it is talking about. It doesn't actually specify, but I'm sure you could make it a little bit more robust through a little bit of practice. So not bad, not bad. Pretty cool display of technology that you can do just with the prompt. That's not bad. Now, on to the next. Okay, and then we have prompt number 3, which is a biorhythmic canvas. This one is about building a basic engine for a bigger idea. We want a super pretty full screen abstract art thing that animates smoothly and continuously. The main thing here is making it look amazing and run without any lag at all. So first, the prompt has Gemini think up what the art will look like. It's asked to describe an organic, living, full-screen artwork that might evoke flowing energy or biological rhythms. This indicates specifying a sophisticated color scheme, 3 to 5 hex codes, and the main visual shapes and textures, aiming for efficient generation like particle systems or evolving Perlin noise fields, and its continuous living base animation that should be mesmerizing and smooth. Gemini is also asked to state the primary technology it will use, like HTML5 and Canvas, HTML5 Canvas or P5.js. Then in step 2, the prompt directs Gemini to generate an HTML code for this biorhythmic canvas foundation. It must be full screen, continuous, mesmerizing, fluid, visually rich, and exceptionally smooth, targeting 60 frames per second with no lag. Visual polish is super important. Colors, forms, and transitions must be aesthetically sophisticated. An important part of this prompt is to get Gemini to include commented out lines or a clearly marked section in the JavaScript indicating where, in a future step, simulated data like steps, health, or sleep score would be used to influence the visuals. For now, these parameters can be driven by time or randomness, but I'll go ahead and add days of the week here in a little bit. And as you can see, it has already started to generate some amazing stuff here. I got just the art is absolutely amazing, swirling around, forming all over the place. We got different nodes exploding, different looks like families of particles floating together. And then on the right, it looks more like a ever evolving ecosystem. Oh, well, I guess they both look like ever evolving ecosystems, but the one on the right seems to be more, but the one on the left seems to be more concise and more directed and more orderly. The one on the right is just full of things. But it's kind of cool to see basically information depicted as moving art, essentially. So as the information gets put into the system, it will generate basically an artistic response instead of to go with the information, but more of an artistic response. And as you can see, I've gone ahead and added a little extra prompt there. I asked Gemini to take that foundation, define some simulated 7-day data, and use that data to drive the animation parameters, creating a visual narrative of the week. Plus, it should add about 2 to 3 interactive bioecho nodes that appear at key moments, revealing specific poetic text. This is all about a beautiful, smooth foundation, giving it several prompts and several steps and seeing if it can implement it on the fly. Um, so let's see it. Okay, another beautiful execution by the Google Studio AI using Gemini. And as you can see, it has generated the tabs with words on it for the days of the week. Right now it's on Tuesday. And each day of the week, the form changes a little bit. Now, upon the first run, it's not going to change that much. But upon the second run, the second week, after it goes through Sunday, it will have more of a dynamic change. So we'll let it run through Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, and see the different change. You can already see there for Thursday on the right, it has changed quite a bit. The one on the left kind of looks similar to where it started, but it is showing the different tabs popping up. The one on the right is showing the tabs and a change in some of the art. And it's on day 5, Friday. Day 6, Saturday has picked up pace there, as a Saturday should be. Let's say this was connected to your nervous system and your Saturday, you're wanting to know how your health is. You look at your watch, and of course, instead of it giving you, your heartbeat, numbers, it'll just give you day 7, Sunday. Yeah, and which is going to be a swirl of life here. So day 1, Monday, let's say it's 5 a.m. This is what you're going to look down and see on your watch. Your neighbor is going to be sleeping next to you. They're going to look at your watch and they're going to be like, look at his health swarm. Look at her health swarm. It's so chill on day 2, Tuesday on the right. However, day on Saturday on the left is going crazy. And as well as day um 3, Wednesday on the right, I think that's week 2, is getting pretty lit. And so Thursday it turns up a little more. So that's pretty cool. Pretty cool visual indicator of how your week's going health wise, depending on what neural system or what system you have it connected to. Really cool display. Let's move on to the next. Okay, for prompt 4, this one's called Terramorph Engine Genesis. We're making another base for a bigger idea. This time it's going to be another full screen idea, interactive art piece where us, the user, can play around with about 2 to 3 pretty abstract elemental levers or influence orbs, is what we titled it. When you move these levers or orbs, it should drastically and beautifully change a central piece of abstract art called the world echo, all in real time and super smoothly. Looks, smooth performance, and fun interaction are the big things here. So in step 1, the prompt asks Gemini to design these interactive bits. This means defining 2 to 3, 3 to 4 abstract, visually distinct elemental levers or influence orbs, as we said before. For example, these are going to be a draggable glowing orb or a crystal style slider. For each, it's prompted to describe its appearance, how the user interacts with it, and assigns a simple numerical output range, example 0 to 100. Then it's asked to conceptualize the world echo, the central generative art piece. This should be a complex, interconnected system capable of dramatic performant transformations, perhaps representing an abstract living world. Crucially, the prompt instructs Gemini or Google AI Studio to detail how the state of each lever or orb will directly and significantly influence multiple parameters of this art in real time, allowing for a wide spectrum of visually distinct world states. So let's get some examples of what kind of world states it's going to have us have, and then it's going to tell us where we should put our slider and our to get that world state. It's going to suggest different things to us. For step two, Gemini, the studio um, will complete the HTML application. It's going to implement the interactive controls as the UI elements and the main canvas displaying the world echo art, which must change dramatically and smoothly in real time as the controls are manipulated. As you can see, that real time transformation is the main wow factor. So transforming this stuff in real time is going to be our main wow factor. We want it to look high end and artistic, run smoothly, and have no errors. It also needs a little placeholder for adding an analysis feature later. Look at that. Now you can see I have the sliders on both sides, and then it's a little janky, as you can see, but you know, it works. With a little bit of editing, a little bit of prompting, you can create something very cool, as you can see here, as the colors swirl all around. And I can move the slider around and it will change everything I'm looking at pretty much on the right side. The left side didn't seem like it was working quite that well, but this right one's working great. The left seems like it's a static build that hasn't been changing very much. We're gonna keep messing with it. And I see it says Flux Core, Chrono Shard, and Aether Weave. So typical, AI, you know, AI robot generated names and titles here. And on the left, this slider does not seem to be working that well. I can see maybe a slight color variation, but I don't think it's actually changing that well. Okay, so similar to the last prompt, I had a follow-up idea. We're going to ask it to assign deeper meanings to those levers, implement and analyze my world button, as we spoke of, that generates an interpretation and like sustainability tips based on lever settings, and then it's going to add a visualize potential button that temporarily animates the art to show how things could get better. So I wanted to show a button that changes it up a little bit. This one's all about basically playing creator with the little digital world. So let's go ahead and check it out. Okay, now that they have finished, we're going to run the first one. Nice. It kind of looks similar to the last one, except it has that analyze my world button there. And let's go ahead and run the left side. All right, come on. So many files we've tinkered with. There we go. And it has the analyze my world button. And I never told it to fix the code to get the sliders to work. I just kind of just kept going with the second prompt and the right working as it was before. They're both working as they were before, except look, I click analyze my world, I get explanation and sustainability pathway, so suggestions. And there it goes. So I can click visualize potential and nothing much happens. Visualize potential. Oh, and see, it changes it on the fly. I can click analyze my world, visualize potential, changes it kind of back on the fly. Uh, Kind of works. This one on the left says visualize my potential. Nothing's changed just yet. Try it again. Oh, well, a little bit has changed. It's changed color quite a bit. A little bit of a tint. Oh, sliders are working. Okay. Moving that around a bit. Okay, try the left slider. Oh, right slider. Oh, yeah, left and right sliders aren't working. Visualize potential. Wow, but if you click the visualize potential buttons, it will go crazy and try to break your computer. Nice. Look at that. Visualize potential changes and works. So this is a cool little idea that you can maybe work and run in the future with different other projects, different other ideas you come up with. Okay, let's go ahead and go to prompt 5. Okay. Hold on to your hats for prompt 5. It's going to be called Axiom Anima. It's AI's living theorem visualizer. The big goal here is sick, amazing and super dynamic full screen animated system all in one HTML file using p5.js. Okay, now here's a super cool part. The prompt first tells it to invent a unique set of abstract axioms or rules that control how three types of visual entities behave and interact. It also has it define these entities, solars, nebulae, and quasars. It's going to define them as that. Then Gemini is prompted to code the an HTML application. Blah blah. Then Gemini is prompted to code. Geez, I just can't speak. Then Gemini is going to code the HTML application that simulates the whole system. So we can watch cool, complex patterns that just happen on their own, all based on the rules the AI came up with. We want it to be hypnotic, run perfectly, and show off that AI can design its own rule-based worlds with neat particle effects and some user interaction. So in step 1, as per the prompt, Gemini designs this system. It defines the three entities, solars. They pulse, glow, orange and yellow, shoot out particles and move slowly. So that's the art we're going for. The nebula is made with a few soft animated blops, blues and purples, and they drift slowly. The quasars are going to be small, super fast, bright cores with particle trails, and it's instructed to define exactly 4 axioms, rules for how these things interact and transforms, aiming for flashy results. So axiom 1 is going to be like this. Axiom 2 is going to say this. It's going to have 3 rules, 4 rules, and then in step 2, it's going to be coding all the p5.js. That means JavaScript classes for solar, nebula, quasar, and particles. The main animation loop has to update everything and make sure all 4 like elements are working. There you go. As you can see, there's a lot going on here. I didn't really like this one too much. I'm just trying to push it, push the system, see what it can do. Quasars exploding. The main wow is watching these unexpected patterns just emerge because of the rules I put here. It tells it that's going to burst, they're going to speed, they're going to boost, they're going to deflect, they're going to, they're going to shrink, and so it's doing exactly what the rules say. The left side isn't working at all, but that happens. That's why I put it on low temp, because I want the code to work, and sometimes it just will not work. So that's what we got here on the left. And so basically it's AI playing universe designer. So it's basically like a cosmic ballet that it creates. And it's pretty wild. You can totally see the rules in action. The nova deflection, this quasar shoots through the nebula, the particles burst. That's pretty awesome. It's amazing how these simple AI made rules can create something so alive and unpredictable. Okay, so prompt 6 is the FinSight AI, your animated anomaly and advice dashboard. This one's about making a really polished interactive website. I give the AI a short made up list of monthly expenses. Then the prompt asks the AI to spot the unusual spending spike, generate an alert with some believable reasons for it, and some helpful tips, and then build an HTML dashboard to show all this. The dashboard needs to have some flashy visual highlighting of the anomaly and smooth animated ways to show the AI's advice. It's also designed to perfectly match an example I had in mind for its look and how it works. For this prompt, I've given Gemini the exact fictional expense data. Month 1, housing 1500, food 400, transport 100, entertainment 120, subscriptions 50, etc., etc. Month 2 and month 3. Now, entertainment's going to be 350 in one of those in month 2, whereas month 1 is going to be 120 and month 3 is going to be 140. The prompt instructs in step 1, it's going to be instructed to first describe how it will read this data, correctly handling categories, amounts, and ignoring notes like concert tickets. The specific weird spending it needs to find is clearly stated. It needs to find entertainment in month 2 because it jumped up a lot. Then the prompt requires Gemini to generate specific content for that anomaly. As you can see, entertainment is highlighted. And for the left side here, see what it generates. It generates the same thing, just two different art styles. So seems like both the left and the right both generated something pretty awesome here. There it is. That dashboard these dashboards just look super professional. Entertainment in month 2, exactly like we wanted, highlighted and all, um, smoothly with all this info. Gemini nailed the look and feel of this one pretty well. It's a good little expense tracker idea with not too bad of a UI here, not too bad of a construction here. Definitely, if you wanted to take a day to a week working on this with some with the systems we have here, then you could really create something pretty awesome. And all of these, take a week working on this stuff. You're going to create something awesome. Now, prompt 7, um, we're doing a remix. We're taking an app called Aethria, um, which I had made before. It's a focus timer with affirmations and some chill drone music. And the prompt asks Gemini to turn it into something more evolved, lo-fi focused, and some dynamic ambience. The idea is to make it way more dynamic and flashy and more engaging. The main upgrades the prompt specifies are I'm going to kick out this old drone sound I had and replace it with an AI generated lo-fi hip hop beat, something inspired by, let's say, like New Jabez, using the web audio API, and that's the big one. Add some new background visuals that are more dynamic and subtly flashy, and these visuals should react to the lo-fi beats or if you interact with the app. There are some extra interactive features to control the vibe. The app should still look minimalist but very polished, and all the new stuff needs to work perfectly without slowing things down that I added to, but you guys didn't see the previous one. But for this, I'm giving Gemini the HTML, CSS, and JavaScript um, from the original app. In step 1, the prompt asks Gemini to plan these upgrades. For the lo-fi beats, it's instructed to describe the core elements, the drums, how to get that lo-fi feel, maybe make them from scratch and use any tiny sound samples. And you can use any music you want. And, it's a nice warm bass line, a simple repeating melody with some chords. And it can be used with Web Audio API to add effects for that lo-fi sound, like filters or a bit of a delay. It also has to plan out the web audio bits and how it'll time everything on its own, just with a no code prompt. For the new visuals, it'll describe how the background will get more lively, maybe with some flowing cloud patterns or little twinkling stars that react to the beat. And for the new interactive bits, definitely a simple slider to control the lo-fi beats volume. Maybe if it's feeling fancy, the timer ring could glow in time with the beat, or a button to switch between the two lo-fi moods that change the music and maybe the visuals a bit. So we're already running the left one, as you can see. Um, there it is. That is the groove. That beat is nice and chill. I mean, you have to tweak it a bit, but hear that higher and lower tones there. The background's nice and minimal. The volume slider worked great. That's pretty cool because I was having issues with that on another build. It feels complete app here. Quite impressive little app. Late Night Groove, which just is the same beat sped up or slowed down. Every task I undertake is a step towards success, is what it says. So it gives you some good positive affirmations that just, can help you feel good about your day if you need it, if you need a little pick me up, which is always good. And as you can see, the focus timer goes down. It's just a 25-minute timer. Nothing really you can change there. Very simple, very to the point, very straightforward what you're going to be doing with this app. You're setting 25 minutes and you're going to grind. You're going to focus. You're going to sit in silence, whatever you have to do. Hang out with kids or something with your kids for 25 minutes. This is the second one that has a very loud beat. It says, I am calm and centered. Let's turn this down. Okay. And look at that ring there. There it is. Okay. Okay. That's pretty cool. Yeah. And I like the ring just slowly starts to build there on the right side, as opposed to the left side doesn't have any kind of like timer animation. So that's pretty cool. All right. We're going to add this step 2 here. It's where we actually change the code based on the prompt. For that lo-fi beat, I want to see if it adds a new background and build a new some different interactive features. And all this has to work smoothly while the existing timer and affirmation messages still pop up. Let's see if I can get it to work really quick. Let's see if Gemini can drop a sick beat, give us a new groove. Okay, we're going to see if that works. But while we do, we're just going to start the next one, prompt 8 on the left side here. It's going to be the Cultura Cube Ultima, because Culture Cube, not Ultima, was broken. So once I made a new one, it renamed it Ultima. That's fine. Things get pretty wild. Imagine a 3D Rubik cube, but instead of just colors, each little face gets a unique piece of art inspired by different cultures from around the world. And this art is procedurally generated, meaning the AI makes it up on the fly based on rules. Then the cube scrambles itself and animates a full solve. Now, this one is super complex. There are over, 30 different art style generators in there, like Ukiyo-e Kanagawa waves from Japan, Aztec, Tenno, Chilean sunstone patterns, Cuba Casirafia designs from DR Congo, insular Kells, spirals, Arnhem land dreamings from Australia, and even styles inspired by the Bajas blocks or the Venetian Murano glass. It's a huge list defined in the code. Each one has its own specific logic for creating the art. Plus, they're all 3.js 3D stuff to make the cube work, turn, and apply these textures correctly. This is all basically done here in Google AI Studios. So I'm going to hold off really quick. And because this prompt is so massive and was built up piece by piece with the AI over a long time, I'm giving Gemini the full AI generated code for this one. So we're not asking it to write it from scratch right now. Listen to that. Isn't that cool? Sorry to take a pause here on. I want to go back really quick to this timer. So that's the finalized version of our timer. It's a lot smoother than the one we made earlier. And that was really cool. It works good, yeah. Okay, so we're going to paste prompt 8 there. But like I said, it was massive and it was built up piece by piece with AI over a long time. We're not asking it to write from scratch. I'm just going to give it the code. I already have it. But I wanted to run and show off this really ambitious system that it helps create. There's even an info panel that tells you about the art style currently on the cube, where it's from, a little tagline, and what the cube is doing, like initializing, applying style, scrambling, or solved. So let's fire up this code and watch the Culture Cube in action. It's a pretty amazing showcase of generative art and 3D animation, all managed by AI written logic. Okay, well, I keep working on a new, uh, s- different code generations on the right. We're going to go ahead and start prompt 9 on the left. Now, for prompt 9, the chronocurrents is an AI generated interactive news and trend visualizer. The mission is to get Gemini to make a super slick interactive website that looks like it's from the future, showcasing made up news, themes, and emerging trends. This is a two-parter for Gemini. As set out in the prompt, part one, it's asked to invent 3 to 4 distinct fictional current event themes or emerging trends. For each of these AI generated themes, the prompt specifies it has to come up with a catchy title, an engaging summary paragraph, a couple of key driving factors or subtopics, some future implications or tricky questions about it, a distinct abstract color palette, 3 to 4 hex codes to visually brand the theme, and critically, a concept for a simple AI codable iconic SVG motive that visually represents the theme, perhaps with a subtle CSS animation. Gemini is also prompted to think about the UI UX, a state of the art, sleek, modern feel. This includes how the trend card showing title and SVG motive will be displayed, maybe a grid or a dynamic carousel, and a flashy card expansion or model reveal for when the card is clicked. This reveal needs to be smooth and visually impressive, with the theme's SVG and color palette prominently featured in the expanded view. Then, in part two, using all those ideas it just outlined, Gemini is directed to generate the complete HTML file. The JavaScript must be dynamically generated. These trend cards, the JavaScript must dynamically generate the trend cards, each with the AI coded and subtle animation motive. That flashy interactive card expansion must work as designed with elegant text animations and a clear way to close it. We're pushing for top notch visual polish and flawless performance. So, for this prompt, Gemini is being asked to act as a creative director, a content generator, a UI UX designer, and a coder all in one. Let's see what future trends it invents and how it brings them to life. Okay, and we got one side done. Let's see. This is incredibly cool already. The theme Gemini came up with, it looks awesome. Symbolic city, the mind's canvas. Cities are, wow. AI evolved beyond mere task as execution. Empathy it now knows. AI companions designed for emotional support, learning, and whatever or not. And look on the right, we have that cube, another cube design, just going and flowing. It's always fun to showcase. Can't help but to mess around while you're doing things. Things just pop up in your head and you got to mess with it. But the is incredibly cool. Incredibly cool. The interface is so slick. The way the cards just look all lined up. Pretty cool. Top tier stuff. Fantastic demonstration of the AI's creative and coding capabilities when it's prompted in a certain way. So, all right, prompt 10 is pretty interesting. It's gonna be called the AI Rescue Bot, version one. I think I have quite a few versions, but this is a pretty beefy simulation that uses 3.js to create a 3D world. We're looking at an AI agent that needs to learn how to navigate a procedurally generated maze-like structure to rescue civilians, manage resources like water, charges, and deal with hazards like fire. So basically, a virtual firefighter. This whole thing is built around a queue learning system. That's a type of AI learning where the bot figures out the best actions to take, like move, turn, or use its water cannon, based on its current situation and what it's trying to achieve. It gets points or rewards for doing good stuff and loses points for bad stuff. And over time, it learns what to do. Um, the screen has a lot going on. There's a UI with panels showing the bot's integrity, water charges, current objective, a threat assessment, any active directives from the player, mission time, and even the size of its queue table, which represents its learning knowledge. There's also a log panel for AI decisions and a panel showing the AI's current state representation and the queue values for its possible actions. One really neat feature is the dynamic fire spread and the mini map that show the bot's position and the layout of the level. The player can also click on the 3D view to set a beacon for the bot to navigate towards. Because this is a complete self-contained simulation that is refined over many AI interactions, I'm giving Gemini the full code for this one to execute. So you'll see the AI bot navigating from its first-person perspective with the camera smoothly lerping with its movements, and the UI dynamically updating with its telemetry. Telemetry. I don't know why I said telemetry. This one is quite extensive. So let's just go ahead and run it. And I have to tell it to make a working HTML in full really quick. And when we're finished, you'll be able to see so much. It's a really cool little app. Okay, went ahead and ran it in the left side as well. I'm going to tell it to make that full work in HTML or in the right side. But now let's go back to the left side and go ahead and see our app here. As you can see, we have a world, we have a map, we have triangles, floating triangles that are going to be fire. Let me pull it out a little bit, pull it in. Okay, now we have all kinds of tools. This is amazing here. As you can see, we do fire suppression, civilian safety. We have a full interactive 3D maze-like map, more like just a map, not really a maze, but for the AI, it might as well be a maze. And you know, what we're gonna do is there you go. You can see the bot making decisions, the queue values updating on the UI, the log filling up with its actions and rewards. Boom. See what happens. And so when it encounters fire, it's gonna take that fire damage. See the damage flash, and on the top left, that bot integrity does go down. The blue balls are going to be water. You can stop the AI, new mission. You can set the learning parameters, the speed parameters. The procedure level generation means it gets a new challenge each mission. It's pretty cool to see AI learning to solve problems in a 3D space like this. And it was all from just prompting Gemini to create HTML. As you can see, I can set down a beacon and but for the most part, it's kind of doing its own thing. Oh, it kind of goes towards the beacon, it looks like. But then it looks like it wants to, I kind of made it go through the fire, get the water. So I can somewhat control it, but it immediately starts wanting to do its own thing. And on the map, you can see the fire is expanding. It started with some dots, and more red has shown up. So not only is the AI world generative, the AI itself is also generating its own knowledge. So it's a lot going on here, and that's just from a prompt. You can start with a prompt and start asking it to create something like this, and then it's really hard to regenerate. So I went ahead and just took the entire code it comes up with. Like, it creates the HTML code. Just copy it. You can download it or copy it. And this is a copied code from what we made, and this is what we prompt. And this is kind of incredible, as you can see. Very cool. And I'm not controlling this at all. Once again, I'm not doing anything. I'm just watching with you guys. This is all AI learning it by itself. As you can see, it is pretty stupid. I'm going to tell it to get the beacon. Get that beacon. I'm just clicking. Um, Fire suppression. No, 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 no. Conserve water. I'm trying to read the UI. It's going so fast. So yeah, with a little bit of trial and error, you may be able to create something crazy here. Pretty cool. Pretty cool idea. Machine learning. Machine learning machine. Okay, I totally forgot about this one. Let's run it. All right, same thing. Let's see. Perfect. There you go. And as you can see, new mission, run the AI, boom, into the fire. But as you can see, oh gosh, this thing just, yeah, I don't know if I set the intelligence up, which I think it is turned up. I played around a lot, so I kind of was able to figure out um how to set the intelligence up and down, and like how to make it run a little bit more concise, but more efficiently. But yeah, it's still pretty. It needs some tweaking for sure. Um, so prompt 11 is a bit of a behind the scenes look. This is actually a super detailed design document that I used to get the AI to create the AI rescue bot we just saw in prompt 10. It basically describes everything we wanted for the first person 3D experience, where the AI bot learns to be a hero. It talks about the retro visual style we're going for, evoking games like Doom or Wolfenstein 3D. It explains the Q learning AI stuff, the different things in the world like civilians and fire hazards, how the AI should see its world through simulated sensors, and the main goal, getting the AI to learn to use its water cannon to clear paths blocked by fire. It even details the UI for observing the AI's learning progress and for the player to give some general instructions. The document also covers how the 3D world should be rendered from the grid-based logic and the appearance of the simple to the appearance of simple 3D or billboard sprite entities. The main request at the end of this document was for Gemini to take all these instructions and actually build the whole working game. So that code from prompt 10 is Gemini's execution of this very detailed plan. The prompt is here to show that the AI isn't just guessing. The instructions in the prompt asked it to interpret a complex design document and produce a sophisticated application based on it. So it's not necessarily any new code to run for this one because it's just the recipe for the bot we've already checked out. It just shows how much detail can go into prompting the AI. But decided to run it anyway. Let's see what he creates. Now would be a rendition technically previous to the one we just saw. So this is the original prompt. It made this, and then from that prompt, um, it made the one we just saw, but let's see what it creates. Okay, and as you can see on the left side, it's definitely a more raw, broken, unfinished version of what we just saw previous to this. But I just wanted you guys to see where it started. So you can start from scratch, and the one on the right didn't even work. So we start. That's a real good start, right? Doesn't Nothing's even showing, and then the one on the left being a rendition of what happened on the right, and then of course the one we just saw being um, the rendition of that. So just keep building on your ideas and seeing what you can create. Okay, and for prompt 12, we're looking at the AI generative art gallery. And just like a few others, I'm giving Gemini the complete code for this one because it was built up through a lot of creative back and forth with the AI. The main idea, which is actually detailed in the next prompt, prompt 13, which is the request for this code, is to have this super polished interactive gallery. It shows off at least four distinct generative art styles, all made by the AI using p5.js. You'll see these cool styles which the AI was prompted to create: celestial cartography glyphs, origami swarm ballet, symbiotic crystal lattice or lattice, and rhythmic ink pulse. Each has its own unique particle behaviors and aesthetics defined in its own class within the code. But the real showstopper is how it morphs between these art styles. The prompt asks for a slick three-part animation, and that the particles go first. That the particles go through first deconstruction, where the current art particles break apart and scatter. Then galactic genesis, where these bits swirl around like stardust and turn into little points of energy. And finally reconstruction, where they all come together and form a new art style. The code manages each particle through these stages really carefully. Below the art, there's a UI that tells you about what you're seeing, a title, a little story about it, and the technique used to make it. And this information actually uh, changes and cycles through different descriptions each time you come back to the style, which is pretty neat for a gallery. The morph button itself conveniently tells you what style is coming up next. This one's all about smooth visuals and that awesome morph effect. So let's see what Gemini really can do. Okay, it looks like we finally have them side by side. And as you can see, it's working beautifully as it goes to the different art styles that we have flawlessly. Very beautiful. That's the paper phantoms, fleeting shapes emerging from a swarm, hinting at creatures of myth and dream. It says technique coordinated particle movements, dynamic targeting, and then boom, here's another one. Geogenesis, pretty cool. You see it slightly glowing, and as you zoom in and out, it changes, and then boom, calligraphy of motion. So that's pretty cool. It almost looks like it's jumping from one screen to the next, but they're just side by side, two completely separate animations, two completely separate HTMLs. But that is really cool what it's created. Technique, dynamic brush simulation, noise displacement, alpha blending. So really cool. And who knows, that could be a nice, futuristic way of showcasing art. Showcasing art. This is a display of art essentially. Really cool. And then you have prompt 13. It's basically me telling Gemini, hey, make that awesome art gallery we just saw in prompt 12. It's the actual instructions I gave. It asked for that visually breathtaking professional interactive generative art gallery with flawless and mesmerizing morphing transitions between at least four distinct AI coded art styles, now with cycling gallery information. It lists out all the things Gemini needed to deliver, use p5.js in instance mode, include those specific art styles, celestial cartography, origami swarm, symbiotic crystal, and rhythmic ink pulse, build that tricky three-phase particle morphing thing we talked about, and make the UI that shows different info for each artwork every time it appears. And of course, it has to run at 60 frames per second and look amazing. So, the code from prompt 12 is what Gemini made when I gave it this prompt. It just shows you can give AI a really detailed shopping list for a complex app, and it can actually build it. We're seeing the AI fulfill a demanding creative and technical brief. So, without necessarily implementing any new code here, we were still able to see the kind of detailed instructions that went into making this gallery. On to the next, as the left side breaks on us. But oh, look at the right. It's a slightly different than before. I'd say even better. See that last one on the right. Sorry about the one on the left. It's just stuck in morphing, which happens. And you'll have to tell Gemini to fix the code. Or Google AI Studio. I'm sorry, I'm not using Gemini outright. And here's a calligraphy in motion that are created for us the second time. And there's so much going on if I were to make this the actual size it's supposed to be. Um, but really cool. And that morph animation is sick. There it goes. Super cool. Okay, let's move on to the next, which is going to be prompt 14. Um, okay, so let's look at prompt 14. This is the Project Vulkan V version 4.3. Step one, minimal AI stuck penalty. Okay, we're back with our AI rescue bot, the 3D one made with 3.js. And like some of the other really advanced ones, this is a full set of code that the AI already generated. And I'm just giving it back to Gemini to run. This is specifically version 4.3 of the bot. So it's still the same core idea. Our Q learning AI bot is exploring a 3D world that's randomly made each time. It's trying to deal with fires, rescue people, and find water. All from its first person view, the AI uses pathfinding to figure out routes to objectives like civilians over the exit. The main new thing in this V4.3, like the title says, is that the which led to this code asked the AI to be a bit smarter about getting stuck. The code now makes the AI track steps in current cell. If the bot doesn't change its grid position after several non-progressive actions, it starts receiving a small accumulating penalty. This is reflected in its state key with the STK or stuck component and encourages it to explore different actions if it's not making progress. All the usual cool UI stuff is there. Mission status, bot status, integrity water, AI insights with Q values for each action in the current state, a system log, and controls for AI hyperparameters like learning rates and strategic directives that can alter reward multipliers. The minimap also features zoom controls, which is a nice usability touch. So we're running this specific AI-made version to observe its particular behavioral refinement in action. Okay, and now that they're both finished, let's go ahead and run them both. We have ran the left one, it looks like. You can really see the depth of simulation here. If the bot, oh, I see that the UI looks a little bit more detailed here with the shadows. And if the bot gets in a sticky situation like you just saw with the fire, um, watch the log at its steps in current cell count. That stuck penalty should encourage it to try something different. And it's really fascinating to see the layers of logic built up. As you can see, it's trying to move around and really figure out what to do. The UI has changed to that green we originally started with. Give it that matrix feel, that old school feel. The walls are lined now as if they were 3D printed. And got the fires more detailed now, looking like little explosions. Really cool. Man, that was a wild ride through what AI can build, specifically Google AI Studio. We saw what Gemini 2.5 Pro could do in Studio and whipped up everything from artsy auto-visual things and history-inspired art to crazy generative systems where the prompts even asked it to make up its own rules, plus those super detailed dashboards and full-on 3D AI training simulations. It's just awesome to see these ideas turn into real working websites. A lot of times, just from me describing what I want to the prompt. And even from those prompts, from where I gave full AI made code, it was all about showing off specific cool features, evolutions, or the AI's ability to handle really big projects that it helped build in the first place. Hope you got a kick out of seeing what these AI tools can do when you team up with them. If you like this, hit that like button, subscribe if you want to see more crazy AI experiments, and tell me in the comments which prompt blew your mind or what else we should get AI to try and build. And thanks for hanging out. See ya.